before the season, Corey, you know as well as anybody, is what was the request that we had of the Cowboys defense?
Be average.
Be average.
We wanted them to be an average defense because if the offense was good the way we expected, I mean, you got CeeDee Lamb, you got Amari Cooper, you have all these weapons, and the offensive line was healthy. If you have all of that and you have an average defense, that should put you in contention heavily for the NFC Championship, at least.
Yep.
And then maybe if you can grow into a better defense than average by that point, because, you know, there should be a progression that goes along with it, then you might really be competing for a Super Bowl at that point.
And now the Cowboys sit 19th in the league in yards per game given up, and then 16th in the league in points per game given up. So you're almost exactly in the middle. So not only are you like close to average, you are literally sitting right there in average town with an offense that has been tremendous, especially obviously with Dak Prescott at the helm. So from the 903, I believe this defense is good enough to win the Super Bowl with, and that's not even including DeMarcus Lawrence yet. From the 254, yes, the defense is better than half the league. And that's the question, is it's not to say that the Cowboys will be led by their defense to a Super Bowl. I'm not saying that whatsoever. But you look like now you are good enough to win a Super Bowl with this defense.
Well, and you know, Choppy and I disagree on a lot of things.
I have learned that more and more.
There are times when I really love Choppy's perspective, especially when it ticks off other people. But Choppy was like, whenever they're not a good defense. Whenever they stop getting the turnovers, these yards are going to matter. And they didn't. How many turnovers did they get against Minnesota?
Did they get 0?
0. Yet they held them to 16 points. So the yards, and they also the yards, they stopped them from what? They didn't
even have 300 yards.
Yeah, Kirk Cousins didn't even throw for 200 yards. Nope. So they were able to do that by applying pressure, also understanding that Kirk Cousins does crap his pants on the big stage. That is a fact.
Yes.
But they were able to be a really good defense against a pretty good offense. Like, it's not like the Vikings offense has been poor this season. They've been really good. Justin Jefferson held to the lowest receiving yards in his career so far. This is awesome. So they stood up in that manner, and I'm hoping that is natural progression as the season goes on. But I didn't expect that. They've given up some points this season, man. You know, the Panthers game, we all feel like maybe they probably would have given up less points had some things happen. But, you know, in the Patriots game, that was a more interesting game than we thought. But this one was, I think, a point where the defense said, we can win a game for you. And every once in a while, you're going to need your defense to do whatever those things are to win for you. And right now, Kevin, hearing Dan Quinn say that Ken Norton Jr. told him his dad used to say his dad was a boxer, by the way, for anybody out there that doesn't know that.
A really good boxer.
His dad used to say if a fight's coming, go in the distance, get the ice bags ready. And then his players are down on the field screaming it up to him. Like, that's a culture of defense. And, you know, we always talk about basketball defense is more want to than anything else. Like, there's a lot of skill and length that goes into it too. But the desire to do it is a big factor. And it sounds like they are building a culture on the defensive side of the ball that is not just a we want to, but we want to be better than the offense. That's what I'm feeling from these guys is they have high expectations for themselves. Randy Gregory is like, I spent too much time not playing this game that I really care for. Micah Parsons said, I had to miss a year last year. And all these other guys are following suit, and there's a lot of good leaders over there.
Just as a quick aside, because I'm very fascinated by that era of boxing, did you know that Ken Norton fought Muhammad Ali 3 times? He won once, and then a lot of people think he won another one.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
He was a very, very quality fighter right there. So
somebody also said this, Kevin, from the 903. We always had the talent. I disagree. But the difference is we have the coaching now.
Okay.
I disagree with one of those, And I don't know if Mike Nolan could have done any different, but like I said, culture is a factor here, and Dan Quinn has built this culture on this defensive side. Al Harris has been part of it. Joe Witt's been part of it. They're doing an amazing job as their coaching staff, but I never thought they had the talent. They were lacking talent at middle linebacker. That's why Jalen Smith wasn't active for Green Bay on Sunday. They were lacking the talent.
Already?
Yeah,
Yikes.
they were lacking the talent on the defensive line. And they didn't have a good secondary. Like, they didn't have any safeties. And now we have better play at safety, better an experienced Trevon Diggs, and Anthony Brown's playing a lot better right now. Yep. Obviously, there were a couple plays where you're like, you got lucky there, but he's playing better. And your defensive front was getting pressure. Like, you're getting things from better talent than we've ever had.
And I look at, we're talking specifically about the Vikings game, is so many of your concerns were to a certain extent assuaged against the Vikings. Is what did a lot of people say? They don't fear Kirk Cousins, they fear Dalvin Cook. What'd you do against Dalvin Cook? Kept him in check.
Did he have a reception in this game? I don't think he even had a reception in this game.
I don't know. He did not. And so 18 for 78 yards. Like, you'll accept that from a marquee running back all day long. Every single game. You held Kirk Cousins below 200 yards, but most importantly, in a game without your quarterback that you knew if you were going to win, it was overwhelmingly going to be a product of a low-scoring game, you held the Vikings to 16 points. Like, that is the key right there. And I think this is the turning point that I did wonder, like, if you didn't have the offense carrying most of the water, could you handle it? Well, the offense did not carry most of the water Sunday night, and you still won the game on the road against a team that, don't get me wrong, it's not great, but it's solid. The Vikings are solid, like they are most years. They're not great. They're not terrible. They're fine.
Yeah.
And you beat them in large part because of your defense.
Yeah, without your starting quarterback. That's the biggest difference maker in what the odds spread should be, right?
Yes, absolutely. Look, it didn't shift 5 points because they're like, I don't know about Tyron Smith's bone spur. Like, that's not what happened. So it is because of that. And so, yes, I absolutely believe that the Cowboys can win a Super Bowl with this defense.